somewhere in the Midwest. Your host is Jim Crowley. This is Slickfish Radio. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Slickfish Radio. Looking forward to tonight. Our guest tonight is Crispin Powley. He's a senior vice president over at GSM Outdoors, and we're going to just talk a lot about fishing stuff. We're going to talk about industry stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. So before we get started, I want to thank our friends over at Shields in Springfield. Always a great place. It's not just a store anymore. It's a destination. If you haven't been there before, they're a huge Ferris wheel, saltwater aquarium, loaded literally to the gills, pun intended, with tackle, with everything else. I bought bikes there. I bought dartboards there, running shoes, you name it. Nobody is better in the industry with their employees knowing more about their specific product line than Shields, period. They are the absolute best. They want to take care of you. If you're in the Springfield, Illinois area, please make sure you stop by. We got people clicking on already. Well, hi, Donald Haas. Nice to see you, man. Glad to have you. Thanks for coming on. Anybody else comes on, we'll be looking forward to having you all on. We just talked about Shields as a destination. Also want to tell you about Lure Parts Online. So tonight, if you are new here, comment, say something. I'm probably going to give away a couple of our new products from our Bass Academy line tonight. And if I pick your name, I'm going to get your information and we're going to send you some free stuff. So please feel free to chime in anytime you want. Lots of great stuff coming from Lure Parts real soon. Our friends over at Cast King, big things happening at Cast King as always, leading up to ICAST. 30 new products leading up to ICAST. And you've probably seen some videos that I've put out there already. I've got another very cool one next week. That is a very cool new little product from Cast King that anytime, let's just put it this way, anytime you transport rods and reels, you get a tangle in your truck or get hooked to the seat or hooked to the boat carpeting, there's a new product out there that Cast King has. Very inexpensive, but very cool. That's going to keep that from happening. Got a whole new video coming out on it next week. So stay tuned to my Facebook pages for that. Savannah and Jim Colby just got. Hi, Savannah. How you doing? Jim, hope you're there too. Good to see you guys. Also, our friends over at Mudhole. Thank you to all of you. My new signature series rod kits are doing really well. Thank you. It's because of all of you. That's all I can tell you about it. Those guys are happy over at Mudhole. We're selling some of those. Tony LaMarca is on tonight. Hi, Tony. How are you? And they're doing great over at Mudhole. There's 3 kits available out there. You'll see the little ad somewhere through. But thank you, everyone. Thank you. We worked really hard on those rod kits and the rods that I built that I use. And now you guys are going to be able to do the same thing. I'm thrilled that they're doing good with them. And it's because of all of you. God bless you all. Thank you so much for doing that. Our friends over at Dakota Lithium. I don't think there's a battery company out there that supports our industry more than Dakota Lithium. 11-year warranty. They great customer service, 4 times less than your charging power. I think I've got 4 Dakota Lithiums in my boat this year. I could probably light up a small city if I really needed to. Probably more than I need, but it's really nice to have it. Great to have Dakota Lithium. Pat Bowden came in. Pat, how are you? Glad to have you here. Hey, but you know what? You guys didn't come here to hear me talk tonight. Well, I hope you did a little bit, but I'm going to bring in our guest, and that is Mr. Crispin Powley. How are you, sir?
Really well. Thanks for having me on. Been looking forward to it since you invited me.
Well, that just tells me I think you need to get out more. But I really appreciate that. And hey, go Vols, man! Congratulations. I know you were all pumped up on that, and several people came on and said, "Well, you better talk to him a little bit about that." I go, "Well, he's out of the country right now, and as we talked about, that wasn't planned. But you didn't miss that game, man, and it was you
No,
saw everything, didn't you?"
yeah, it was pretty special. I grew up. My dad was a giant Vols fan, and just kind of been part of my life growing up. It's the same way with my kids. We go to a ton of games, and this baseball team, we've gotten to know a few of the young men on it and the coaches, and it was just pretty remarkable to experience, a national championship. Um, my wife and I are in Puerto Rico on kind of a short notice trip, but I bet everybody in the condo around us knew when Tennessee won. So we had we had a big time, and yeah, it's awesome. It's been an incredible baseball season.
That's really cool. Well, I got to get something out of the way because I don't know if he's watching tonight. Sometimes he does. But Terry Brown said, okay, so right away, now you know
I know
what?
what you're gonna say
This,
already.
this is funny, man, because it's whenever I say something about Terry, somebody's always got a story because the guy's been. I love the guy to death. Him and I got a great tournament record together. We fished one tournament together and we won it. And so, but we've known each other for years. He's been a big supporter of mine and very helpful to me. I think he's got a heart of gold. He's obviously been a blessing to the industry, along with all the guys over there at Wired to Fish. But he said, bring up about you breaking the lake record. So we're just going to get that his lake record. So I got to hear all about that. So I got something to say back to him.
So I'm gonna say this was probably close to 25 years ago. I was actually working for Genmar at the time. I was in marketing at Stratus and Champion. I was in the boat industry, and I fished a ton, Jim. I fished way more than I probably should have, to be honest. But I grew up on Kentucky Lake, and despite living in Middle Tennessee, I went home and fished all of the LBL division BFLs.
Yeah.
I think that's post. It was post Redman, so it had to be in the BFL days. That tells how old I am now.
You were fishing the
But
same time I was. You were fishing the same
but
time I was. Yep.
okay, so this particular tournament was out of Katawa on Barkley, and
Yep.
and I ran all the way back around to Danville on Kentucky Lake that day. And my first stop, I caught like a 4.5 pound smallmouth. I
Woo.
lost another one. Just had one of those weird days, but I ended up with. I can't tell you what the total was, but I had a limit that weighed 13 and change, right? And I remember telling my co-angler, I said, "Well, let's give ourselves enough time to get back because I feel like I'll probably squeak out a check
Yeah.
and some points, but that's it." Well, when I pull into the dock, Dan Moorhead walks by and he's got two.
Yeah.
Bill Schroeder walks by, Mr. Bill, and he's got one or two. And then,
Ooh.
Sean Penn and Bolton and Ramey and all these hammers are walking by and
Right.
they've got three maybe. And I remember Bolton, he said, "You're gonna win this thing." And I said, it was May. I was like, "You don't win a May Barkley tournament with 13 pounds or whatever it was. May have been 12. I don't remember.
Mhm.
But anyway, I did. I won that BFL that day, and back then we had full fields, just 200
We had
boats,
200
and
boats. We had 200 boats back then.
every
Yep.
one of them. And
Yep.
so anyway, I don't even think I hung around. I hung around. They took my picture and I left because I was fishing back then the Bassmaster Weekend Series. I had one the next day on maybe Center Hill or Dale Hollow or something. But anyway, I had to scoot to get over to the pre-tournament meeting, and so anyway, I don't remember how I did in that tournament, but at work on Monday, I'm sitting at my desk, my phone rings, it's Terry Brown, and I love Terry just like you do. I mean,
Yep.
he's been influential in my life and my career, and he's just a wonderful human being. The world could use more Terry Browns, and
Hmm.
um, he called me and he goes, "Hey man," he said, "I heard you won that BFL this weekend." I said, "Yeah, I did." And he goes, what'd you win it with?" And I told him, I don't remember today what it was,
Yeah.
but he said, "Well, congratulations." And I said, "What?" And he said, "I held the record for the lowest winning weight ever in a BFL in a LBL division BFL." He goes, "And you've beat it." And I said, "Well, that's a distinction that I'll take with pride, Terry." So I don't care if it takes 5 or 55, as long as you're first, right? So, uh, but yeah, that's he. I knew when you said that what that was going to be because he makes sure that everybody when we're around each other knows that story.
It's pretty clear to see you guys are in it to win it. You have that mentality. And I think what a lot of people need to know, and we had talked about this a little bit, that one of the best things about being a company like that is now you guys just aren't drawn from a little source. You have so many more opportunities and so many more heads in the game to make the products better than they ever were, or to take them farther. And when you got the commitment that you guys do, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know we both feel that's important for people to know.
Yeah, and I love talking about this and telling this story because it was it was no easy decision for me to leave Strike King and go to GSM. I'd been at Strike King for 17 years. I'm still there's people I encounter all the time they've still got my Strike King email address. That's where they know me from,
Mhm.
and I'm proud of that. I love the brand, love the people that were there, love the people that are there, and so it was no easy decision. It was a very prayerful decision to make this jump over to GSM. But a lot of things lined up and made it where it was the right thing to do. And one of them was, um, I believe life is a series of seasons, and I believe that my season at Strike King had come to an end.
Yep.
And I also really felt strongly and I was very excited about coming into a season that I'm in now where basically the people at GSM whom I knew ahead of time, I'm an avid outdoorsman, I'm an avid hunter. I knew a ton of those guys over there from hunting. And there's don't be mistaken, there are some hardcore anglers that were previously at GSM prior to the fishing division, but basically the vision was let's go find brands that we can put together to offer a portfolio that's meaningful to retailers and ultimately incredibly meaningful to anglers. And let's find a way to grow them and add value. And whether it be an upstart company, um, that nobody knows, that we just have faith in the product and believe that it's the real thing, or it's a big company like a Yamamoto, for instance,
Mhm.
that's got 50 years history, and we believe that we can lend something to that brand to take it to another level. And what's funny is you use the word conglomerate, and in my lifetime that word's almost had somewhat of a negative connotation. Just
Mhm.
I may have imposed that on it myself, because man, it's easy to root for the little guy, the
Sure.
underdog, and but the fact of the matter is, each one of these brands that we've assembled into this portfolio of fishing brands has all been that, and we treat them all that way now. One of the cool things about the way we do business, Jim, is I've got a guy named Wes Higgins that's kind of my right hand. He happens to be Bill Lewis's grandson. He's spent his entire life in this industry.
Wow.
I've got another young man that I talk to every day that fishes all 9 of the Bassmaster Opens, the EQs. He was a college angler. He's one of the sharpest young kids I've ever met, and an incredible fisherman. We've got a whole team. I mean, I'm just giving you 2 examples. We have a whole team of people who are incredibly passionate about angling, about fishing, about tournament fishing, about the industry, about you know experiences that anglers have. I mean, we sit around and talk fishing when we're not working, right? And which is almost never now. But with that being said, I I I, I wish that I didn't feel the way I do about the word conglomerate, because now that I'm on this side of the fence, it's almost an unfair lens that I'm kind of projecting that word through. Here's what I can tell you. Gary Yamamoto is a legend. He
Yeah.
created some of the most incredible baits, um, and we had the best year that the company's ever had in 2023.
That's
Why?
awesome.
Why? But why? The question's why, because that's what you got to ask. And
Right.
it's because we've infused tons of resources into a company that had gotten to a point where some new blood really did it a lot of good.
Mhm.
And it's not that I'm or anybody on my team is any smarter or better than Gary. We brought some new life to it. And one of the things I must say this, if we're talking Yamamoto too, it's still built in Page, Arizona. The Cinco hasn't changed. It has a
Right.
new Dang. Man, you would not believe some of the messages I've got because I'm out there, man. I don't know if you know this, but it's not uncommon for me to jump on one of our pages and answer questions that
Mhm.
consumers, post so I make myself very available. I'm just like everybody else. I'm on there digging around looking for the next best fishing technique or bait or
Sure.
whatever because I still love to catch them and but man, you would not believe some of the messages I've gotten, Jim, about if you change the Cinco, I'll run over your dog or I'll burn your house down. I mean, people are crazy, but we've done nothing but take something that's great and just fan the flames, and I think people often think, oh, well, they're just buying up all these companies, they're going to cheapen them up and try to take all the money to the bottom line, and I would tell you that we probably make a lesser profit margin than the people that owned it before us. We don't take arbitrary price increases, and we are spending a ton of money on research and development and I think you'll see that with what we've got coming at ICAST, what we've brought in the past, what we've launched. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I'm very honored to get to kind of steer the ship at this in this season of life.
Because when you
Yep,
bring fresh people in, when you bring fresh eyes, when you get a fresh company, there's a whole bunch more opportunities there that you can bring. When I work on baits with Lure Parts Online, the thing is not only is it going to be cool, hey, we're catching fish on it, but what if this one bait that we did, what if we did it
absolutely.
this way, is that gentleman's son's first fish that he catches? What if that happens? I still
Yep,
get excited about that
me
kind.
too.
Yeah, because you're making, especially in today's world, when you can make somebody smile or enjoy their free time, which they have less of, and you can make them enjoy that more by having a new set of eyes or having a new experience or bringing out a new product that may make their life a little bit easier. It's about more than money. It's about, you said seasons, and I know I believe the same thing I think you do is that God has us go through these seasons and we do certain things in certain places. It's not because of our will, but it's because of His. And
Right. Amen.
there are reasons why we meet, why you and I met, or why some other people meet, whatever. There may be a connection that he wants. It's all about, and when you have people like that together that are focused on something like that, a lot of good can really truly come from that. It doesn't matter how big the company is, it matters where their heart is. Do you
That's
agree
right.
with that?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly. I had a coach that told me this playing sports growing up, and I've shared this quote with my son, who's a really good little athlete, countless times, and my team has heard me say this countless times. In the fishing side at GSM, but good is the enemy of great, and
Hmm.
there are a lot
Wow.
of things out there that's really good. This is a good bait, but if we're okay with that, that's going to hinder us from going. What would make it a great bait?
Right.
Or this company's doing really good. Like Yamamoto, nobody would ever argue Yamamoto was doing good.
Yeah, and
But
you're not going to beat what they did when you imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Gee, I think there's a couple Senko imitations out there, right?
yeah,
Just a
there
couple.
are, and the whole industry's like that. That's a whole
Sure.
other podcast, man. Is imitation and flattery, right?
Yeah.
I may write a book on that one day, because that's our industry.
Yeah.
Is
Sure.
we've all found techniques, baits, colors, shapes, sizes, names, whatever that we thought were really good,
Yeah.
but we thought, what if we changed it this much? We could make it great. And I
Right.
hope that never stops. I hope that every person that works for a lure company gets up every morning and approaches life with that mindset because it makes us all better and it makes the end game. It makes everybody catch more fish.
I've always said this: that competition breeds a superior product.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're building some of our own baits at Lure Parts. Or one of the ways we do it. And I'll just be honest with people. Okay, here's 4 or 5 baits that are doing really good. Let's fish them all, which we've done, and then look at a couple things that maybe we can add our twist on to make it better, how we think it could be better for somebody else. It doesn't mean it's going to be the best bait out there, but it may catch somebody one more fish because of a new twist we put on it. And that stuff,
Absolutely.
it's never going to get old for me. I love that. I still think that keeps you feeling young in the sport. You just, every time I go, oh, I get an opportunity to do that. Heck yeah, count me in. I remember talking to some high school kids, telling them, when I was tournament fishing, I would go home and when I started the little apartment I was living in, and to see how the baits would work, I would fill up the bathtub and throw the baits in the bathtub. And they're like, "You would throw
Done the
the
same.
bait? Yeah, you throw the baits in the bathtub?" I said, "Yeah, I was doing that preferably when my wife wasn't in there, but I did." But I did it. Why? Because I was always a tinker. I wanted to know exactly what my bait was doing underwater. I had to know exactly what it did, because if I knew what it did, I could better control it and I could catch fish better.
Absolutely.
But I'm still the same way. I have to see that bait in shallow water. I have to do it. How can I make it better? How can I tweak it? How can I do it? And I think when you have companies like yours that have like-minded people, that you guys all want to do that. We do the same thing with the companies I want to work with. We're constantly, there's a gentleman, Andrew Taylor, that I work with at Lure Parts Online, that we talk 4 or 5 times a week, because we're going back and forth and figuring things out. That's the fun part of it. But it's the hard work until you figure out when that bait comes out, and then somebody comes up to you and goes, "My kid just caught," like you said, his personal best or his first fish. That makes every phone call, that makes every bit of time, that makes every time you woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking, "Am I doing this right?" That makes it all worth it to me.
You tell God your plans, and if they're not His, He just laughs and goes, "Okay, watch this."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I can plan everything I want to, but if it's not ordained, it's not going to happen.
right.
So
But he's gonna direct your path. This is my
that's
favorite
right.
is Proverbs 3, 5, 6, and there's a reason for that, because yeah, he will direct your path with that trust that you put in him. And it's so wonderful to be able to talk to people about that and express that. I had the opportunity, real quick, and then we're going to take a break, but I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago, to talk with Al Linder, and who has been, just a big influence on me, and sitting there in the Angling Edge studios talking to him in Minnesota there. I said, one thing I can truly thank you for is not only, that I watched you growing up and learned from you, but you also showed me how to be bolder in my faith.
Amen.
And
That's
I
awesome.
said, that is something that I will take with me wherever I go. And it was so awesome to see the look on his face and to sit and talk with him for an hour. I've been friends with his son Troy for a good number of years, and we fish together every year. But to have the opportunity, Al and I had met years ago a bunch of times, but I wanted to be able to tell him how much I felt that it was just cool, not cool, but it was really neat to be able to tell the person that helped me to be bolder in my faith by watching what, and you don't always get that opportunity in life to tell people what they meant to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just a very, very cool thing, very, very cool thing to do. Um, and it's obviously you and I are both passionate about the same kind of things. That's why I was so happy that you agreed to come on here tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that passion. Plus, I got this thing in my head about I got to talk about this frog factory because I love fishing a frog.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that a little when we get back. We're going to take a break. As always, God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching us. We'll be back. I think it's Chuck Woolery used to say that, 2 and 2. Yeah, that's when we'll be back right after this. Located in Springfield, Illinois' largest selection of sports and sportswear, hunting, fishing, specialty shops and services, a 65-foot Ferris wheel, 16,000-gallon saltwater aquarium, and industry-leading knowledgeable employees. You don't take chances at Shields, ever. At Lure Parts Online, we have everything you need to make your own lures, tie your own flies, pour soft plastics, and more. Easy ordering ensures you get your products quickly. You can build all you need to create your own angling success at Lure Parts Online. Cast King, fueled by innovation through novel concepts and ingenious designs, markets directly to consumers with unprecedented cost-effective e-commerce practices, cutting costs by 30% more on average. Cast King empowers anglers of all skill levels to achieve things never thought possible. Find out more at castking.com. Mudhole is your #1 source for custom fishing rods. Mudhole is the world's largest supplier of rod building supplies, information, education, and instruction. The best components and brands you trust, including MHX, CRB, American Tackle, Pro Products, Fuji, AFCO, and more. It's easy to build your own fishing rods at mudhole.com. believing quality is measured by lifespan, harnessing their unique chemistry, engineering, and know-how. Dakota Lithium lasts 4 times longer, powering your passions and backing it up with an 11-year warranty. Find out more at dakotalithium.com. There we go. Come here. Get in here. Yeah. Nice fish right there. Hi, I'm Jim Crowley. Make sure you catch my show, Jim Crowley Outdoors, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, exclusively on Wired to Fish TV. Look for Jim Crowley Outdoors on Wired to Fish TV on free, ad-supported streaming TV, including Plex, that can be downloaded in the App Store at Apple TV, Roku, Samsung, and others. So, Chris, I got to talk to you about the frog factory, and I saw a little bit about it, but I love fishing frog. I don't think anybody in their right mind is a largemouth bass fisherman doesn't like fishing the frog. But you guys combined Lonnie Stanley's ribbit, and then I know you were working with Fred Rubanis on some stuff. That's just, I mean, that's some quality stuff when it comes to frog fishing, man. I love the name. I'm like, I just want a T-shirt. I'm gonna have to buy one of those T-shirts, but I just love it. But so tell me a little bit about Frog Factory.
Yeah, I mean, we believe that frog fishing is a almost a subculture that I might compare to maybe swim bait fishing.
Yeah,
Um, and quite honestly, it just doesn't get the love that we felt like it deserves as a whole. And we thought it would be a lot of fun to take and build a brand around a genre of fishing. And now frog is a little bit ambiguous. I mean, we're talking, frogs, toads, any type
sure.
of like a hollow body top water type bait.
Right.
But to your point, I don't know anybody that's ever had a fish blow up on a frog and go, "Oh, that wasn't fun," or be reeling a ribbit along and one come out and crush it like Shark Week and go, I'd rather
Yeah.
I'd rather catch them another way. So we knew that there were a couple opportunities out there in the marketplace, with Stanley and with
Sure.
the Boom Boom Frog that Fred designed. And Fred is a very valued part of our family with other brands. Fred uses Buckeye and Phoenix rods and Yamamoto and just Cuda and some. He's part of our family. And when he came to us and kind of said, "Hey, look, guys, I've got this frog, and I've got some really good ideas that I would love to bring to life, and I'd like to do it with you guys." That was really all we needed. That was the excuse we needed to create this brand. And what you're seeing now is just the foundational products, I guess I'd call it. There's nothing here that we personally invented, innovated, whatever. We've got all of the ribbit is just, I'd put it against any toad type bait. Stanley and those guys, or Lonnie Stanley and those guys, were just so forward thinking when that style of bait came out. I think that they nailed the design, and I don't think anybody can argue that it's kind of a timeless design. What you're going to see from us, we've got some new colors coming in it that you're going to really want to see, because we've taken, and it's kind of what we were talking about earlier when we got our hands on the brand. We've taken some of the technologies and processes that we had available at, say, Yamamoto or Big Bite, and married that with the ribbit, and you're going to see some what I truly believe are the best colors that's ever been available in a ribbit. We'll debut those at ICAST this year, and then Fred, it's going to be probably spring to summer of 25, but Fred has got some crazy Frankenstein stuff going on in the lab that he's working on with frogs that we're really excited about. But they're just not battle tested yet. We're not going to rush them to market.
Sure.
So,
Sure. And since my next question to you was, is it going to be at ICAST? Because I'm stopping by. So
You should
I,
stop by.
I will. Matter of fact, we will meet in person. I will, if I have to make a special appointment with you, I will make sure I want to come see some of the stuff at the Frog Factory. That is, when I saw that, I go, one, I love the name. I think Jay Beffa kind of just said that a little bit too. He goes, that's a great name. I love it. I saw one of the social media ads for it. I go, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. And
we
I agree with you 100%. I just had a really good frog bite this weekend. We were testing some new products, and they were just back in the lily pads chasing mayfly or dragonflies. And I go, we
yeah,
just got to throw a frog for a while. So I ruined one of the frogs I had and had an absolute blast. We had, and it's just fun. It makes you feel like a kid again. That blow up, if that doesn't get you excited, you just shouldn't be bass fishing. Just go play golf or pool. I don't know what to tell you, but it's just, it's so fun. So when I saw that, I go, yeah, I gotta stop by and see that. So that's really exciting, and especially the new colors, that ribbit. I agree with you. It's going to be hard to improve on that design. It's been around forever. Lonnie Stanley obviously was brilliant in a lot of things
brilliant.
that he did. I mean, the Stanley jig itself. I mean, there's so many copies of that. Uh, and anything else and his spinner baits and everything else. But what a fantastic, what a fantastic thing to do. I think that's just absolutely awesome. The truck and precision sonar parking lot. What a great bunch of people.
Incredible. Yeah, I
And
mean, the highest quality mounts you can get and the highest quality people running that brand.
yeah, I'll tell you what. When I signed with them last year, and it's a long story that I'll do some other time. But anyway, it was interesting where you literally felt almost instantly that you were part of something really, really cool. I can promise you this, and I bet you've seen it too from behind the scenes. Precision sonar is going to go even farther than they are now. There's a lot of
100%.
there's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of creativity there. And when I saw the people that showed up for their open house, I was there for it. And that's when I saw when Drew and I talked a little bit more. There is such passion behind that brand and customer satisfaction, just like dealing with your company. People really want the absolute best for the people that decide to invest their money in them. Uh, I have never had my boat set up better than I have
Sure.
with precision sonar. I am very,
Well,
very fortunate that I got to meet these people. Actually, Drew's the one who introduced us. And I'm very fortunate for that, because I pray that this is that I do my job so this can be a long lasting relationship, because I think very, very highly of them. And obviously you do too.
yeah, I mean, I would, I mean, honestly, let's deviate from GSM for a minute, but talk
Yep.
about a theory that I believe applies to GSM and that they are killing it over at Precision with is culture.
Yep.
And I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past. I mean, it this whole industry, the best thing about it are the people. And
Yep.
I don't care what logo you're wearing on your hat, who signs your paycheck, what brand, whatever lure, whatever. It always boils down to the people. And I learned that at Strike King, and I apply it today to our team we built. But man, you take Ryan and Jordan and
Yep.
Joe Lucarelli. I mean, they've got just a bunch of hammer fishermen in that building that love fishing.
Yes.
They're
Yes,
passionate
they
about
do.
fishing, and it shows in what they do. And that's exactly the magic I think that are behind those really special companies that I hope people experience that when they deal with us, because that is culture is everything, and they've got it in spades. So
That's it.
right,
That's all it is. And and I've said this before. I think I actually have it on my Facebook page. You never have to worry about doing the right thing as long as you do the right thing.
that's right. That's a good way to put that.
Right?
I'm gonna steal that and infuse that into my
You go
children.
steal
So
it, make a t-shirt and get me one.
I heard a quote one time. I'm a big quote guy, but I heard a quote one time that said, "A gift is only a gift if it's given." Right,
Right.
and
Yes. Your faith in a direction that your career has went in the outdoor has played an important role to you, just like my faith has played with me. Because I'll be when people ask me about it, I said, I'll be honest with you, I fail God every day. Um,
amen.
and it's just It's because of his grace and his mercy that I'm still around here being able to do what I want, because whatever his plan is for me, obviously he's not finished with me yet. I'm an extremely long work in progress. Okay. So I
Same.
yeah, but it's great that we can be bold and talk about that. And just if you would, just a little bit, maybe the first thing that comes to your mind, how important has your faith been to you in the business that we are in?
You know, I can't describe a value. It's that important, right?
Right.
I would tell you that I turned 47 this week, Jim, and I became a follower of Jesus at 34. I would also tell you the last 13 years of my life have been the best 13 years of my life.
Yes.
And it's not because of like titles or accomplishments or material things. It's just the peace and the confidence and the joy that I experience all these same things I was already getting to do, but from a completely new place, a place of peace and a place of confidence and a place of joy. Um, and it's extremely important to me. I I tend to try to surround myself with people who kind of have the same values. We don't have to have the same opinions, but I do really appreciate people such as yourself who are outspoken about their faith in Jesus and what it means to your life and what it can mean to others' lives and I don't think that there's any of this by accident. I don't believe
Agreed.
in I don't believe in coincidence. Um, I think all the tiniest little things down to what pair of shoes I pick out to wear that day, there's a meaning and a reason for it, albeit I may never understand it. And but it all boils down to faith and a plan that's bigger and better and more perfect than mine. Because my plan for me, there's no telling where it would have ended me, and it would not be nearly as great as what I think God has for me. And that's not just me, that's you, and that's anybody else that puts their faith in Him. So I feel very fortunate to work in an industry where I get to interact with people um, of of you know similar accord and mindset and belief systems, and so I can't separate my career from my faith because
Right.
they're just incredibly intertwined.
It can't happen. It just can't.
And
It can't happen. There's been such an incredible piece, and it's funny you said you're 47. I wish I was 47. I'm 57, and I still get excited about that. And I can tell you this. I was talking to Dan Quinn from Rapple. I don't know if you know Dan, but
yeah,
uh, just a great guy. I've known his dad for years. Anyway, I told him, I said, Dan, I'm still at the point in my life where I still get more excited every year. And he laughs because I tell him the same thing every year. I go, I get more excited every year. I said, and the reason is because I think I'm having more fun. Not I think, I know I'm having more fun. I get to work with some great companies that a lot of them have a lot of great Christians in a company that we see eye to eye, just like the conversations you and I having. And this has just left me with the peace. I mean, you have good days and you have bad days. That God didn't put us here for comfort. He put us here for creature or character development,
right.
you know? And so you're going to have bad days. The good thing is at the end of the day, we know where we're going. We have that promise. We know, and that peace really does surpass all understanding. Even though there's some days when it gets really, really bad, and we all have those. We all face those really, really bad days. But at the end of the day, we all know that God is there for us. And a lot of times it's like one of my favorite things is footsteps. You know what? And when there wasn't two sets of footsteps, the reason is because he was carrying you when you couldn't do it on your own. And
Amen. That's
I have
awesome.
felt that so many times with when things get hard and all of a sudden I come out the other side and I go, now I get what you were trying to do. You needed to change me. You need to change. And I am so
Yeah.
stubborn. And
Oh
I'm
man.
an only kid that grew up in an Italian Catholic family on the northwest side of Chicago. I'm guilty for the air I breathe, Crispin. I'm telling you. But once I accepted Christ and became a Christian, I now know that there are reasons for things. Some that I may not understand. It's not up to me to understand them. It's me to trust that I have the faith that God is going to put me exactly where He wants to put me. And in a lot of cases, that has made life more enjoyable, and especially the fishing industry. I can't there's and I think you feel the same way. We have both met so many good people, and hopefully there's a lot more that we're going to get to work with and be able to meet, and a lot of us have the same thing in common, and I honestly don't believe that's a coincidence.
right? And if I understood it all, what faith would I need? But
Right.
I have faith in a God who is perfect. I have faith in a God who is for me, and I have faith in a God that I don't have to question His motives. And honestly, that's about as refreshing. I'm pretty simple, and I that's about the most refreshing thing in my life is just to know that I don't have to have it all figured out, and it's about sharing that with the people that this industry gives us an opportunity to talk to and reach and experience. And so,
So
man,
many great people.
I commend you for using your platform for that, Jim.
Well, one of the questions I got from someone before is, well, if there is a God, why is there evil in the world? And I said, well, remember something. And I learned this a while ago. God didn't put evil in the world. He gave us free will. Guess who chose evil? We
Right.
did.
Sure.
And on the other hand of it, there's a lot of us out there who chose a lot of good, and we get to talk with those people in this industry just about every day, and it's been such a true blessing. That's why I get so excited about ICAST every year. Is as much craziness as it is, it's like home week for like 2.5 days. Man, I just really, really, truly appreciate you being on tonight. And you're in Puerto Rico, for crying out loud. Tell your wife I said thank you too for letting you do
I'm
that.
fixing to I'm fixing to take her to eat something really good here in just a minute, so she'll be fine here in just a moment.
Well, I'm going to let you get out of here so she's not mad at me. So
She won't be
go
mad at you.
go have a great meal. God bless you, brother. I look forward to seeing you in Orlando. Safe travels home, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jim. I appreciate you, brother.
After here, we are going to be on Wired to Fish TV, Roku, Fire TV, Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify. But thank you so much for joining us live tonight. One of you guys said, thank you. Great show. You guys are really coming on. Thank you for showing up in force tonight. We got a couple more good guests. We had at least one more good guest before ICAST. Not going to tell you about it yet. Just so you know, we're going to bring up Lure. Let me thank Shields again. Obviously, great. Love having Shields and Springfield on. Lure Parts Online. Thank you, them. Thank you, the Cast King. Thank you to Mud Hole and Dakota Lithium. Before you guys leave, let me give you, as I always do, please let me give you some discount codes right here. Cast King's got a bunch of new stuff, 30 new products, 30 new products before ICAST. Put in this code right here, JC52AFF, 20% off anything and everything at Cast King. Go check it out. There's a couple new reels on there that are amazing, some new products. Go to Cast King, put in that code. You'll never pay retail again, JC52AFF. Our friends over at Lure Parts Online. Go to lure making, go to the new products or new items and check out some of the new Bass Academy stuff, the new jig heads we have, the new plastics. We've got the new wacky worm almost ready to be, the new wiggle stick that's coming out soon, the new Smalley tube, the new hitchhiker bladed jig jet. So much stuff that they're working on is coming out soon. There's your code for Lure Parts Online right there. Jay Beffa, I'll get with you. Well, I'm thinking of it right now. I'll get with you. I'll get with Tony Ariola, and we'll get you your stuff. Okay. Also, our friends over at Dakota Lithium Battery. You looking for the best batteries in the industry that support our sport? Put in that code SlickFish10. You'll get 10% off right there from them. Also, our friends over at Mudhole, my signature rod kits are doing well over there. I thank you for all of that. Every single one of you. They are selling good, and they are selling good because of you. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week. God bless you. See you soon.